And speaking of dead, Raw and Smackdown this week. Boring television. Smackdown more than Raw. But when I say Raw was better than Smackdown, it's like saying, well, the Marlins have a better record than the Mets. Yeah, they do, but they still suck. And the Mets are only like 2 games behind them. We need CM Punk back is what we need. He was, by the way, he was at that show last night, at the Rousey-Carrano fight. I saw him, he was in the crowd, he was interviewed. But he has not been on WWE television since whatever that first Raw was coming out of WrestleMania. And it really hit me this week. The show has taken a nosedive without him there. And I don't even think he should be on Raw. I think he should be on SmackDown. I think SmackDown could use him right now. But they moved Gunther to SmackDown. And Jacob Fatu has seemingly been moved to Raw. SmackDown's also going back to 2 hours soon. So I don't know that they're going to want to move Punk over there now. Plus, it's pretty clear SmackDown is not a priority for WWE anymore. I mean, if you didn't already know this, I don't see how you can watch the television over the last several weeks and not realize this to be true. That show is clearly not a priority for them. Raw is their A show. They don't give a shit about SmackDown. It's a nothing show. SmackDown is getting very close to Rampage territory. Okay, what Rampage was to Dynamite is what SmackDown is becoming to Raw. And I'm embellishing, but not by much. But where Tony Khan gave Collision to Punk, for that to be his show, maybe WWE can do the same with him on SmackDown. I don't know. IYO SKY against Sol Ruca on Monday I thought was good stuff. By the way, congrats to IYO SKY. Before I went and started recording today's show, I saw her and EVIL in their respective social media posts. I guess they appeared on some sort of Japanese television show. And I don't know what kind of show it was, but they broke the news that they were recently married. Because there's the footage and the photos of EVIL and IYO SKY and just married, and she's in her wedding dress. And I'm like, wow. I mean, there had been rumors about them being an item for many years, and there was some talk about whether or not they were still together. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's their business. But I guess they have officially gone public, and they are now officially married. So congrats. Rhea Ripley will be very jealous about this. If I were EVIL, I would keep eyes in the back of my head. But IYO against Sol Ruca on Monday, that was good. Carmelo Hayes against Ricky Saints on Friday. That was also solid. Gunther against Royce Keys in the main event on Friday. That I enjoyed for the most part. But it's not enough. It's not enough to save these shows. The matches that we got on Dynamite, for example, this week, infinitely better. If we had 1 or 2 matches like that, maybe that would help offset the other shit that we have to sit through. But the matches themselves, they can't even measure up. And so what we're left with are a lot of boring segments and way too much comedy, especially on Fridays. I mean, think about this. On SmackDown alone, we have R-Truth doing comedy with Damian Priest. We have The Miz and Kit Wilson, who are basically a comedy duo. Danhausen is still doing his science experiments. Chelsea Green is played up for comedy most of the time. She was back on Friday. Johnny Gargano is still laying catatonic on a crate. Months of this shit with no end in sight. And then if it's not the Gingerbread Man, it'll be something else. This is all on the same show. It's like their version of the Colgate Comedy Hour from the 50s. Except that had Abbott and Costello sketches, which are still more entertaining than anything you'll see on SmackDown. But on Monday, the show was built around an acknowledgement ceremony with Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. An entire show devoted to someone acknowledging the other. We're still doing this shit. After how many years now? Thankfully, it wasn't too cheesy. They actually just let Jacob go out there and kill a bunch of dudes, including Roman, which was great. They'll have their rematch in Italy since Roman is being advertised for that show. They haven't announced it yet, but he is advertised for Clash in Italy. So that's where we're going to get the world title rematch and a WWE Championship match on the same show. So unlike Backlash, it looks like both belts are going to be defended on this next PLE. Which one opens the show? Which one closes the show? I would say if Gunther is going to beat Cody to win the WWE Championship, then they have to close with that. But Roman Reigns is clearly the top champion in this company right now. He's the top star. He's the main character in this company right now, more than Cody. If there is no title changing hands, then you close with Roman Reigns. The only thing they've announced for SmackDown so far this Friday is Tala Tonga against Shinsuke Nakamura, which I'm sure has you just absolutely giddy to tune in. But if that isn't enough excitement for you, there's a Saturday night's main event coming up this Saturday that I will not be live for. I have other plans. I'll talk about it on the Sound Off next Sunday, but let me run through the matches that we know of so far, because this still feels very incomplete. Penta defends his Intercontinental title against All Ego Ethan Page, who is undefeated since coming to Monday Night Raw. And I said, at the time, I said, Page is going to win that IC title inside of 6 months. Guaranteed. But this would be a hell of a lot quicker than I imagined. But here we are, and I think that there's potential in this sort of uneasy alliance between him and Rusev continuing on for a while. Maybe with Rusev wanting Ethan to give him a title match, and Ethan keeps finding ways to avoid it and put it off. The dynamic between Page and Rusev is basically Ethan Page, what they were doing with Ethan Page and Ricky Saints in NXT. I'm going to say Ethan Page wins the Intercontinental Championship. Right now, this is the main event of the show. As things stand, this is your main event. Unless they add something tomorrow night involving Fatu and the Usos, maybe. Because I doubt very seriously Roman Reigns is going to be working Saturday night's main event. But as of this moment, this looks to be your main event. I think they put the title on Ethan Page. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I think Page is great. I don't like the idea of beating him yet. A Penta Rey Fenix match for the title would have been a lot of fun, but Phoenix is a dead character on the show. He's going to be wrestling Laredo Kid, I think, for his championship in AAA coming up. He's not doing anything on the main roster. Plus, I think they've already announced the Lucha Brothers are going to have a reunion for Triple Mania, which is not until September. So Phoenix is going to be doing more there than he is on Raw or SmackDown. So I think if you're doing this match, then you put the title on Ethan Page. Rhea Ripley will team with Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss to take on Jade Cargill, Michin, and B-Fab. This should be a win for Jade and her crew if the plan is to rematch her and Rhea for the championship the following weekend in Italy, which I assume it is. Then Jade should win here. And she should get the win by pinning Rhea Ripley. Not this bullshit where, she won, but she pinned Charlotte Flair, or she pinned Alexa Bliss, which would be a cop-out. By the way, that promo segment with them on SmackDown, Rhea wasn't there, but Jade came out with Michin and B-Fab. That segment was horrendous. Less talk, more action. And coming out of Clash in Italy, I think it's time to start building to Jade Cargill against Charlotte Flair. They've teased this match enough times now over these months. Maybe they want to do Jade against Alexa first, with Jade beating Alexa, and then they do Jade against Charlotte at SummerSlam, because that's a big enough match for SummerSlam. I know I'm going to get an angry email now from you-know-who, but this is what I can see them doing if the idea is ultimately to go with Jade and Charlotte soon. She runs through Alexa first, and then we get the Jade and Charlotte match. The Vision, Logan Paul and Austin Theory, defend their World Tag Team titles against the Street Profits. Seth Rollins and Montez Ford, they don't like each other. Seth Rollins and Montez Ford have been beefing lately. I don't know what's going to happen on Raw tomorrow night, but I do feel like Rollins is going to end up playing a role in this match, sticking his nose where it doesn't belong, and they're going to splinter off with a singles match soon between Seth Rollins and Montez Ford, and I'm here for it. I'm here for more Montez Ford singles action. But no way does the Vision lose those titles here. And it may not mean anything here, but Maxine Dupree has been spotted multiple times now on television with the Vision, like in the background. She was sitting in the passenger seat of their SUV on Monday when they were leaving the show. She could always get involved here if the plan is for her to maybe join the Vision as their new valet, but it's more likely that Rollins gets involved. So I have Logan Paul and Austin Theory retaining. And Paige and Brie Bella are going to be defending their women's tag team titles, provided they can get past the Judgment Day tomorrow night, against Nia Jax and Lash Legend. It was brief, but they did mention this in a backstage segment on Friday that they would be challenging for the belts on this show. I don't care to see it, but I don't think they're taking those titles off Paige and Brie until Nikki is ready to come back. And that's the card. They're missing one big match. Otherwise, that card looks about right for a Saturday night's main event. Not quite a PLE, but a little bit better than your standard Raw or SmackDown, with a few title defenses on the show.